What's shaking? So I just went on the off chance that I would catch some of you rats in the lab. Instagram, I'm actually doing this on the goalie training lab over on Facebook, but I let you guys creep along too. But basically, this is a point I wanted to make, and it's not actually even related to anything that's come up on the goalie training lab. It's more email questions that I get or questions that I get on Facebook. But I kind of wanted to answer it here first, so that because that's what I want the lab to be about. I want you guys to be a place where it's not the same. You don't get the coaching element that people in the Shutout Academy and in the Shutout Lounge get. I mean, that's a membership program, and that's like a semi-private coaching group. But I want to share some of the latest thoughts and give you some live stuff that other people don't get, or at least that you guys will get first. So that's what we're doing today. But basically, people say, "Oh, I've had a sore hamstring, for the last 2 weeks, or my hamstring started hurting 2 weeks ago. What stretches should I do to make it feel better?" Or, I hurt my shoulder. What stretches should I do? I tore my groin. What stretches should I do? And it's like the stretch. It's like a stretch is a cure for everything. Even some people, on the groups will be like, "Oh, my knee hurts when I do this. Oh, stretch it." Sometimes it is, and it's one of those things that, in general, let me be very careful how I put this. More often than not, you're not going to make something worse by stretching it. You're not necessarily going to make it better, but in most cases, you're not going to make it worse. In some cases, you absolutely will make it worse by stretching it. So you need to know, again, it takes us back, and I feel like a broken record because I sound like a broken record, but what is the underlying cause of that pain? Now, if you went to do a flying kick save, you thought you were Dominic Hasek, you forgot that you weren't, you quickly realized that you weren't because you had searing pain and you heard a popping sound coming from your groin, then at some point you're going to have to stretch that. Once it's pain-free, once you've had it assessed by the physio, some gentle stretching is going to be the order of the day. So when there's a clear mechanism of an injury, then yes, at some point when it's pain-free, you're going to stretch it to try to restore the natural range of motion. But I'm talking a little more about those insidious things that just creep in. Oh, my back's feeling this. That's a big one I get. Oh, my back's stiff. Give me some stretches for my back. If your back's stiff, there's a reason for it. Now, if you just slept in the car, having a little trouble at home, you had to sleep in the car, that's a reason why your back is stiff, and you probably do need to stretch it, although not first thing when you get out of bed in the morning. Because when you first get out of bed in the morning, the discs between your vertebra actually are a little bit, because you're not weight bearing, they actually puff up a little bit. I just saw that. Did you guys see Tyler? I saw him stand up. I'm like, is he just trying to get in the video? And then he says he video bombed. Ian Stiles would never do that, would you, Ian? But anyway, so your spine is actually the stiffest first thing in the morning. So if you have to sleep in the car and you wake up and your back is stiff, Ian's like, what are you even talking about? Don't do it first thing in the morning. But I mean just like the normal, like, oh, my back's just starting to get stiff for no reason at all. Stretching your back is probably going to make it worse over time. Not maybe instantly. It might feel good. Oh, that feels so good. But it's not what your back needs. Again, if we think of the muscles that attach to your pelvis, and we talked all about this in that Carey Price video I did a while ago, it's probably the muscles that cross your hips that attach to your pelvis that are pulling your back into a weird position, or it's postural. So number one thing you would do is sort of focus on getting your posture down. So the point of this whole thing is stretching something isn't going to fix it necessarily. The answer is not always, oh, what's a stretch I can do? I have sports hernia. What's a stretch I can do to fix that? It's like, I can't even think of an example, but it's like it's so complicated. it's such a complicated issue. It's like poverty. Like, who can I donate to solve poverty? It's like, well, it takes more than that. So the number one thing is always try to figure out why you're getting that discomfort. Have you changed anything in your routine? A lot of times it comes from rapidly increasing volume and intensity, and or intensity. So have you gotten so excited about training that you started training, went from training 0 to training 6 days a week? Same or with hockey. You haven't played all summer and now you're playing 5 days a week in a pretty competitive hockey. Is there any change in equipment that sort of coincided with that I was actually feeling pretty good, but now I changed my knee guards and now I'm actually getting knee pain? So maybe that's part of it. Any changes to your fitness routine? Okay, I was doing front squats and I just switched to single leg squats and now my knee is sore. Okay, what am I doing it properly? Is there something I can do to fix it or to make it feel better? Maybe I need to lighten the load, something like that. But stretching is not always the answer. If you can't nail it down yourself and this pain is getting worse or not getting better, then honestly it's money well spent. Go see a good sport physiotherapist. Most things musculoskeletal, physiotherapists are the ones who are really taught how to assess that and how to relate what's going on an examination to what's going on in your body and how to maybe improve it. I think chiropractors also do a great job of working on things spine related, especially if you have a really good one and one that has some experience working with goalies and maybe some pelvis stuff too. But usually go to the sport physiotherapist, someone who has experience working with hockey players ideally, get it figured out, and then really they should be able to give you a few exercises. Hey, this is why I think you're having that issue. Here are a few exercises. It shouldn't be like 14 different stretches. Just, here are a few exercises to work on. Let's see if this makes it feel better, worse, or no different. And you go away and do your stretches and come back and see if you've improved. So that's the 2 cents on just stretch it. It'll make it better. Not necessarily the case. So always know, hey, just like when I design your training pros, what am I trying to accomplish with this specific exercise? What's the best way to achieve that adaptation? And then you go from there. That's it. That's all I got for you. See ya.